Well, frankly, they were tossed into the sea. There's no sugarcoating it. They were tossed into the sea along with all of their objects of religious worship.
Oh, that's
Uh,
How to toss the aquatic-based things into the sea?
well,
yeah,
I mean,
that's a
you,
good
I mean,
idea.
you slit their throats first, obviously, according to the records, and then
Yeah,
they drown
obviously, but-
in the ocean.
Kind of poetic.
Yes, apparently they would tie their feet down like anchors with their own religious objects.
That's not a.
Waste not, want not.
That's
True, but I also
Oh,
feel like
God.
that's inviting that kind of whale eldritch shit, you know?
I don't know much about ghosts, but that's a way to get haunted.
That's how you
I
get
agree.
haunted, he's right.
Oh, absolutely. In the years following, in about the 100 years following, there was a very large there was a hysteria that happened. Right?
Mhm.
It was called the Great Madness. You can read about it. It was a period of time where people were reporting ghosts all the time.
I wonder why.
All of the time. And then obviously the whale madness happened. And since then we haven't had another big panic. Except for people panicking about our fine institution. But yes, the symbol was supposed to denote a star that can be seen in the night sky on a certain time of the year that can only be seen on a cloudy night. Which is strange. That's not how stars work.
Oh, it wasn't a star.
What time of year?
Time of year. Well. Here, let me as I find
As you look it up real quick.
find the months.
Month?
You can find it. You can find it in Falnern. So
How far away is that from today?
maybe about a
What?
month and a half.
Okay, so it's coming up. Points of interest, game rules, and lore. There we go.
Anyway.
Where's the calendar? There we go.
It's towards it's slightly past the middle part of Falnern right now. The month it changes.
Okay.
So that's at least when they said that they're that all when they had planned for all of their work to come to fruition. Of course, it was interrupted by a holy crusade. So you win some, you lose some.
Do you think them getting their way across would have been winning? Well, that's a lot of silence you just provided.
I don't know. It's not often I don't know things, but I don't know. So there is more information stored in the archives. There is.
Ugh, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, I know. I read the witness report.
Yeah.
Trust me, I always get this stuff first. I have a few things on Mortier. But there is some things in archives. I could even go with you.
Wait a
This
minute.
is pretty interesting to me.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having somebody knowledgeable on the topic.
So I could bring up a lot of the old. There was a very large undertaking to understand what they were doing, and then during the whale madness, a lot of the information got suppressed for the safety of the people here at the institute. But if you saw a dripping wet corpse of the person who went on the expedition that expedition was tracked to be the beginning of that mass disabling event.
Yeah.
I feel like it's prudent.
Especially
about-
with the symbol that showed up at my door.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about them apologizing, but I know this handwriting.
By that.
It's one of our investigators. Well, former now. He resigned yesterday.
The fellow that went blind, I'm guessing.
Yes. He's in the psych ward now.
Huh.
Non-verbal most of the time. Every now and then starts screaming things that the people in psych don't really know how to describe. And so they currently have him muzzled. Not the most humane treatment.
Oh, that's starting to sound about that hallway you two wanted to go down.
Don't know what to talk about.
Hmm. I guess my question is, if you know about we saw Clarice, is there a way we can... I'm trying to think of the nice way to say this, but I don't think there is. Is there a way we can like fight that type of thing when it comes up again? Because I have a pretty damn good feeling it's gonna happen.
Okay, so, she starts to nod her head yes and says, unfortunately, I cannot provide that information at the time. And then writes down on a piece of paper, on a piece of paper, follow me to the armory.
Oh.
Gal. Oh, well, that's a real shame.
Yeah,
He goes
Yeah,
to
I have
gather
a-
his
I have a
notes
bit of
to kind of hide
inventory.
that little bit of note.
hey, actually, there's a little bit of inventorying a friend of mine asked me to do, and I was wondering if you want to tag along. This is a very interesting conversation. I think we should continue it. Here, why don't you just follow me?
I have to
I
go
got the
and
time.
do some more stuff too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
I
Okay,
think
perfect.
The conversation's quite educational.
Of course.
I would prefer to learn more about this before it pops up against me, so I'll join.
Yeah, and of course, I can bore you with all the intersections of marine biology and linguistics.
Yeah.
I would
Weird,
expect nothing less.
weird how
Where's the boring part?
a guy who was blind and has been blind for
Mhm.
like 2 or 3 days
Oh yeah, he was going blind when he
wrote
got here.
a note.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever closed your eyes and tried to write, but your handwriting looks different. And if his handwriting
Weird.
looks the same,
It's as if he's possessed by eldritch shit.
yeah, get what I'm saying, right?
And he's saying shit that people can't understand.
The ant and
I'm-
the
and this lady was trying to write in another language, going mad with apparently
Well, she was trying to
information
learn
that
another
caused
language.
more people to go mad.
She was trying to learn
I
another
like-
language.
I like the concept of they're trying to basically translate this information in a language that they don't know by using our language as a reference point, even though they don't have any form of like Rosetta Stone or anything.
I mean, that's
The best they
that's
can
how
do.
wars happen.
Yeah.
System fucking plum.
Anyhow,
So as she's going, she says, now, there's a very particular intersection of marine biology and linguistics concerned with translating the echolocation sounds of various different animals, such as dolphins and whales, into perceptible language by humans, so we can establish perhaps some sort of contact with them and understand their social structures more. And she just starts going.
yep.
And
You think it could overlap with bats in
All
some
the
way?
way to the armory.
all the way to the armory, it's like a 10-minute walk.
No, I was joking. That's funny.
Yeah, and then
It's
when
a
she
long
gets
10
there,
minutes.
when she gets there, when everyone gets in, she just closes the door and locks it. It says, "Okay, so." Anyways, sorry, it's a bit of a passion of mine. It's really interesting, but I'm about to start rambling again.
It's useful information, but not at the exact second.
Right. So here's the deal. There are ways to deal with ghosts. It depends on it depends on a number of factors. One, how strong is it? The stronger it is, the more you need something that is attached to the ghost. Emotionally, historically. Something that is of significance.
We
That
have notes.
that could be.
We
That could
do
be.
have her notes, and we can get other objects if we
Now
need to.
now ghosts, as a general rule of thumb, can't be killed. You can't die twice.
Yeah.
Can they be?
I'm not saying to
moved?
kill. I'm just saying
You can stun them
protect
and you can
us.
ward them off.
Yeah.
That's basically the options you have. Now, I understand this might be a little bit to take in. So please, feel free to scream all you want. These are brick walls.
Ears everywhere, huh?
So, when you're dealing with a ghost, one way to stun them, it hurts them a lot, is you start reciting things from the moment of their death. It's kind of like, imagine reliving the most traumatizing moment of your life, and then someone reciting to you word for word what happened. It would hurt you. It would hurt you a lot. For them, all they are is their mind. And so it hurts like a blade, not like an insult.
Do you think you could recite what has happened to the body? Such as, what happened to them immediately after? Or does it have to be, like, before they died? Do they not know what happens after they died?
Well, most ghosts have, from what so ghosts are really individuals, very individual cases, but we have learned, generally speaking, from our attempts to understand the other side, is that ghosts have amnesia about the moment of their death. Generally. So telling them the thing that they have intended to forget. Well, it's kind of like digging up a repressed memory.
So
You're inducing them into a traumatic state and they can't act.
And being a being that's just mental, and that's it. If they're mentally breaking down, their entire being breaks down.
Or even they call it metaphysical.
Metaphysical.
So, first say, for use of this, if we come across another ghost who we didn't know exactly what happened the moment that they died, would have maybe leading up to their death, especially if they had a particularly tragic one.
Right,
Yeah,
died of a horrible disease.
The larger, the closer the proximity to the moment of death, the more effective it's going to be.
What if it's a ghost that we don't know how they died at all?
That leads you
to warding.
To tool number 2.
Okay.
Warding. You can keep them at bay. Now, wards don't last forever. And in fact, think of it like a shield. You keep hitting a shield, eventually you might break through it. The ward gets weaker and weaker the more it has to resist. Eventually it breaks. So, there are 2 forms of wards. There's offensive and defensive wards. Offensive wards and defensive wards are essentially the same thing. They work by the same effect. But an offensive ward projects its defensiveness outward. And because it's a wall that's blocking them from entering. If you throw a wall at someone, it's gonna knock them over. It's gonna hurt them.
Yeah.
So that's how they are. Sometimes religious symbols will work, but only if that ghost was particularly religious.
Religious symbol for a person who died relating to a cult.
Right.
Might.
Why did they scratch it on my door then?
A wreath
Maybe
often
they wouldn't
works.
know.
A wreath often works. There's a lot of connection between wreaths and sanctity. The the psychological understanding of the of the idea behind the juniper wreath is that it acts as a barrier between life and death. The dead are supposed to stay dead, the living are supposed to stay living, and so pulling up a wreath is a way to try to enforce that onto one. And it may banish them for a moment, but they will be back, and they'll be back with a vengeance.
Well, if
The other option is to try and reason with them. Ghosts are extremely irrational. But there are documented cases where reasoning with a ghost was able to work.
I don't want to put it off the board, but I don't think that trying to reason with someone from a madness-induced suicide is gonna be our best option. But a good
Crazy
option
enough, it
for
might make it actually a
other
better
ghosts-
option situationally.
It depends.
It depends.
I don't have the greatest confidence in
So
that for this.
The old Templars, Celastrum, used to keep a raven on them, in part because ravens are another symbol of are a natural ward. They hold a lot of religious weight.
Well,
So if you had a raven, it might keep one at bay, or at the very least, it might alert you.
Warning
I don't
system.
know. I haven't worked with animals much, but in theory, could alert you.
I guess it's pretty smart bird.
If we have things about religious symbol to keep away ghosts, sometimes depending on if the ghost was religious, and Venice, I have a suspicion that either that symbol scratched on the floor in front of your area is either to protect or to put a target. And I'm not sure which one it would be. But if they're apologizing, that might be protection. Because
Or-
they're sorry for messing up your floor, or it's apologizing because that means that they have now put a target on you.
Maybe the body has no choice, but the mind does.
Yeah.
It's always a possibility.
What do I do then?
You start to dig. You start to learn. The way I got my job was my mother hung herself, and then her spirit started to haunt us for years. Actually, the first guy I dated, she's a dick.
Scared him off.
No. She, what's the word?
Haunted his ass?
Possess?
Made him infertile, we'll say.
What?
Oh, he
Did she
castrated him.
castrate him?
Yes, unfortunately.
Your mother's a dick?
And he doesn't
Well-
have one anymore.
I was about to say, well, now she
No one's
has one.
testicles on that one specifically.
Well, you see, a knife that wasn't supposed to be there fell.
Aha.
Well, so I don't think that was a testicle situation. I think that was a shaft.
He did get shafted.
Damn.
Galleon kind of like nods his head in Forest direction. It's like, okay, you had that one. Yeah, you called that one.
Not the old shaft stab.
No one believed me. The Institute did. They helped me to exorcise her. Exorcising a ghost is an option.
Doesn't have to be where they died, though.
Now, yes. One has to be where they
Damn.
died. Two, if you fail to exorcise a creature, you can potentially bind it to the realm, making it impossible to exorcise.
That would be not great.
In the worst case scenario, some people who have failed have bound one to themselves, eternally haunted.
That's not good.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah, I got my own shit. I don't want to be haunted by a ghost. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Right, especially not
Not that one.
especially not Miss
Not a wet lady.
right, especially not Miss the whales are talking to me.
Yeah.
That one would be rough, I think. So those are your options. Those
there
are your
anything
options. If you wanted to draw a quick ward, in the investigator's armory, there is a little vial full of white sludge. Don't ask what it is. You don't want to know. It's made of a lot of different things, none of which are pleasant.
Whale dicks.
But you can draw it. You can draw symbols on things, and it buys you time more than anything. It's like a stink bomb for ghosts,
Huh.
you know, or mace. It makes them feel bad, but you know,
I have a suspicion. I'm gonna go over to the door and try to see if I can unlock it.
so pull out your key, and you start to work. You start to work it, and it goes. And it opens.
Oh. That's weird. Okay.
I agree. You're not supposed to have the key to that room.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Is that the normal key you use for these kind of situations?
Can anyone know how to work with locks? That's strange.
Do you think it's less that you have the key and more that they gave the lock permission to let you in?
No,
That's
these
weird.
things are well built.
After the door's unlocked, I am just looking at this lady, just kind of like
Can I
confused and suspicious.
like look at the lock?
Yeah, go
Or,
for
like,
it.
the door precision work probably?
Yeah, make a precision work check.
There's a locksmith thing.
I have a
one
lock
in it.
picking. I have locksmith stuff.
The closest to lockpicking I got is a sword right now.
Yeah, we know, and that didn't go so well last time.
Hey, it went perfectly fine. It opened the door.
Hit the
And
wall.
you
Yeah, but
closed
then
it
we
down.
couldn't lock it after us.
Yes,
Do
you
you
did.
want to try
You
and
were good.
push it? Or do you want to use luck?
What does pushing do again?
So you have to describe to me a way in which you put in more effort with the potential of catastrophically failing, and then you get to re-roll.
What would catastrophically failing to look at a lock be? The lock
You
hits
break
in the
it.
face?
Or
Let's
you
use this
break
way.
it, and now people know that it was tampered with.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, who was in here in the last, 15 hours? And it's like, fuck.
Or break my tools
Or you break your tools.
Or
evenly.
break tools.
Mm-hmm.
You leave
I know
a
what
spray
happened
painted
while
signature
it was-
of my name was here.
Did you roll heavily above it? Oh.
My thing's a 50 and I got an 85.
Oh yeah, that's
Not even
rough.
I
close.
think. I can't even remember this one.
58. You got
Oh,
58.
never mind.
You could give 8 points of luck.
It's not
Lucky.
double digits.
Yeah, that's actually
Hello?
it is not double digits.
But you could also think of it this way. How difficult do you think it is to get a new set of lockpicking tools?
The problem is that I'm not worried about losing my lockpicking tools.
It's more of an issue of if the lock breaks.
I don't want to break it in some way that makes it someone else can't open it, or
Well, here's the
But
thing with the
somebody
pushing.
else tried to.
With the pushing thing, it is you choose the punishment. So you could have it that your equipment is irreparably damaged, but the lock is fine.
Well, no.
No?
I choose the punishment.
Oh,
I
okay,
was
never
saying,
mind.
yeah, Ketsa's gonna choose the punishment.
You made that sound differently in the description.
No. I choose the punishment.
Okay, I'll just use the 8 points to luck to bring it down to 50.
Okay, got it. So you have 33 points left. Okay.
Because I had 41 with the additional one.
Yeah.
I
So
see.
with that, you're able to pop it open. You go, and then you start to look, and you start to open up the actual mechanism, and you find that it's missing all of its binding pins. You could have put a stick in there and opened it.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. No, wait.
Somebody really fucked with this.
So we're not the ones tampering with it. Somebody else tampered
We
with
just found that
Somebody
it was
else
tampered with.
may be
it. Oh god.
in there
oh,
already.
God.
Or they went in and left already.
Oh god.
Galleon's gonna grab his club.
Is
Actually, his
this
sword.
a situation?
I just back up and let somebody else
Wait,
go in
wait.
first.
Okay, is this a situation where the armory has one entrance? Specifically, the investigator's armory has one entrance?
Yeah.
And likely there wouldn't be any windows.
No.
Yeah.
Question before we go in there for the DM. Would there be anything in there, environmental or mechanic, that I would be aware of that I could use? Or either to know to use or to be aware of what's in there somebody else might want?
If it's a place where people are living or people are existing, you know there's an air vent. Is the first